I think that these are f***ing fantastic. They killed it. Not just like, oh, those are good. Like, no, they killed it. And I didn't expect anything less. I've really been liking what ANTA's been doing. If you've been watching the channel for any sort of time, you already know. I tried my best to play in them as much as possible before giving any thoughts on them because I wanted to just do justice by you guys and stuff, because you guys been really kicking ass for us. Like every time I ask you to comment and do the algorithm thing, y'all show up like crazy. So salute to you guys. Thank you so much for watching us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it. I can't even say that enough. Comment something for the algorithm.
Pick your favorite Pixar movie.
Well, I mean, we do that for engagement and stuff, but not everybody participates. I think it's because I got to say it in the beginning, which I forgot to do, of course. Maybe we'll pull this out and put it in the front and that'll be the intro. Who knows? Yo, what's good everyone? My name is Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on the ANTA Kai 1. That is Kyrie Irving's brand new signature sneaker line with the brand ANTA. Just to avoid any potential confusion, by the way, he's not just a signature athlete with the brand. He is now the brand's creative director for basketball. So he kind of has almost like a Dwayne Wade type of approach to the brand. I don't know if he has direct ownership stake like Wade does, or if he's going to get an offshoot company like Wade did, but just know that he's not just another athlete under a brand like he was over at Nike. So this is kind of a different thing. It's something that they've been leaning towards as far as athletes and their brand deals go, like over some time, like since Jordan Brand essentially. So I think that this is really awesome. So with that being said, in case you were wondering about where you're going to be able to grab these, the retail price is going to be $125. Available sizes will be 8 through 15 men's, and the first launch is going to be on March 6th. It will be on ANTA.com, and it will also be at Sneaker Politics, which is in Dallas. So that's going to be the first launch. So not only that, they're going to be dropping in NYC, the Lower East Side, to be specific, on March 7th, and that'll be over at Extra Butter. And they'll be dropping on the West Coast over here in the Bay Area, and that'll be in San Francisco over at Shop Nice Kicks, and that'll be on March 9th. So again, on the 6th, on the 7th, and then the 9th. Those are the 3 release dates for this particular shoe at $125. There will be other colorways and things like that, so if you miss out on these, just be patient. This is not going to be a short-term deal as far as ANTA and Kyrie are concerned. And just in case you're wondering, this is the packaging. Presentation is just simply on point. It usually is with ANTA products. The only thing that it is lacking is a tech breakdown like what they normally do. So for example, this was the last shoe that he wore. This was the Shock the Game or Shockwave 5. I don't know what you want to call them, but they had the box like this. So they depicted exactly what was in there. Luckily, the same exact stuff is in his actual shoe, so it's not going to be too much different. So if you played in these, then you're going to like those. Or I should say, if you played in these, then you're going to like these. The shoe itself has a ton of storytelling and details in there that are paying homage or tribute to his mother, to his family history, his nationality, and all of that kind of stuff. And there's also this hieroglyphics that they added onto the shoe that actually spells out Kyrie Irving. I don't know if these are actual like letters. I doubt it, because I don't think that they had actual letters back then, like the English language, but that's what it is. So I'm not going to go over all of that stuff. I'm really going to just stick to performance, but I'm sure that there's a copy and paste press release on one of the sneaker blogs that you can go and like read all about it.
Extra, read all about it.
Now, as far as traction is concerned, it's definitely not conventional. It's very flat. I was expecting something very aggressive, like what we have seen with previous Kyries over at the Nike brand. That's not what we've got here. However, the good news is that it works just as well. So while I wouldn't take these outdoors, which is kind of surprising to say, especially since this is a Chinese branded shoe, the rubber just does feel a little bit more pliable than usual. But if you did want to take them outside, I would say that it should wear more evenly. However, indoors, they were perfectly fine. Every once in a while, I'd have to like wipe at a dead ball or whatever, but that's pretty standard even with the old Kyrie stuff from Nike and stuff like that. So this is something that I think is good. I don't think that it's great or outstanding. It's definitely not Kobe 9 level, but it doesn't suck either. Like this more than gets the job done. Now the cushioning is very interesting, mostly because of a couple of factors, and this is me thinking of previous Kyries in the past. I think the only one that's had like true full-length cushion, as far as that I could remember, was the Kyrie 4, I believe. It had a Cushlon midsole and then it had a zoom unit in the heel. I think that that was the only technical full-length cushion of something that we got from Nike for their price points. This is completely different. So for $125, they're giving you everything that they got. They don't like slouch on anything. They're not skimping anywhere. It's incredible. So you can't really see the cushioning from the lateral side right over here. They've got it caged on the forefoot. So you see this little like purple band and then the ANTA logo in hot pink. Those are TPU panels. So that's to keep everything caged up and to keep it so that you do not, I guess you would say, roll over the footbed from the material being too soft. And then this back section right here is simply just an EVA, and that also is caging the foam midsole that's, you know, the main source of cushion as well, but it's allowing for a little bit of movement and compression. So you get plenty of cushion in the heel for impact protection and absorption, but you still maintain all that court feel in the front without lacking any of the cushion that's underneath, which just so happens to be ANTA's Nitro Edge cushioning. So that's that white stuff that you can see when you flip the shoe around. It has like a interesting texture to it and everything like that. It's kind of like got this like dotty look. Essentially what it is an eTPU, but they've upped the ante with it. So instead of it just being like heat and compress to like create the polymer that is the midsole itself, they infuse it with nitrogen, so it makes it a little bit stronger and a little bit more resilient. So this is going to last a lot longer than the standard eTPU. How does it feel? Well, because it is all caged and everything, it definitely feels, especially from a first try on, like every other Kyrie that you probably have ever put on your feet. So if you love that, then you're going to love these, especially once you start wearing them and breaking them in, because that's where the cushion starts to shine. It's when it's in motion. It's got the cushion and the court feel all combined. I'm telling you, Nike doesn't do. They should. It's one of the reasons why they probably lost the guy. And yeah, I don't really feel bad for him. You know, competition. It is what it is. Now the insole is pretty basic. That's probably the most basic aspect of the shoe. You can definitely take it out. I would recommend doing that before playing in them just because they are slightly glued. So if you don't want that to bond to the softer, like kind of netted looking Strobel in there, it'll be a, I would say, damn near impossible task to pull that thing out after the glue has, you know, really like bonded to that thing. So if you're going to replace it, do it quickly. I don't think that it really needs it, only because the shoe, believe it or not, has all of the support that you need in there, which is again something that we never really got with a Nike Kyrie. They always, you know, skimped where they could. They would take things out, like say a shank plate. The shank plate's in here. Not only that, they claim that it's carbon fiber. It's a big old beefy son of a. So if you've been missing stuff like that in shoes like these, well, I mean, look no further. It's back. Now the materials are where things get kind of like more like in line with what we see almost everywhere else. I will say that I do favor this setup just a little bit more than other brands when they use setups like this. So the main build is going to be mesh, and then on top of that is all this like really thin TPU or skin fuse, whatever it is that you want to call it. This stuff doesn't start out flexible. It's a little bit stiff and everything. So the first run or so had a little bit of a weird, like kind of like popping away from the foot, flexing away from the foot, things like that. The more that you really like play in these, heat them up, really allow them to break in, that's when they start to really shine. And it's mostly because of this like tapestry looking stuff that's in here. This is where a lot of the storytelling action is taking place with all of these colors. That press release was hella long, I'm telling you. They told you a story about every color on this thing. So again, hopefully that's somewhere else that you can go and read, because it's just too much to pack into one video. But this stuff right here, this tapestry or this woven, feels amazing. It's not backed by glue or anything like that, so it's got what feels like a more natural flywire style feel to it on your foot, and it just is awesome because everything else that surrounds it is where all the strength comes in. So all of these little TPU welded pieces add the strength and support so that you're not tearing right through the upper, but there's all these flex zones in there that, again, once you heat everything up and like really start to move it, it just really comes into play really nicely, and I just really love the way that they felt. Ventilation is probably its lowest point. I don't usually emphasize that whatsoever just because it doesn't ever bother me, and it doesn't here either. It's just that like I literally just came from the gym and they're still wet. The ventilation point is just right here. You do see mesh everywhere else, but it's backed by other materials, so it's not really allowing that heat and the air to kind of flow through like it would typically. But this little spot right here at the base of the strap on the medial midfoot is the main source of ventilation along with the tongue. However, the tongue also is covered up half of it anyways with the strap. So yeah, that's the one area that I would say that they can definitely improve a little bit on, but it's not something that's a deal breaker, at least not to me. I will say that these are gorgeous. Like, look at this logo, dude. This logo is killer. And on top of that, they didn't pull any punches here, dude. Look at the behind the tongue. Like, what the there's molding and padding all throughout, and then they also put that in the back and the rear. There's like 3 big ass sections of heel pillows. These are sick, dude. They're so awesome. The lacing's fairly traditional, so you got lace loops, and then at the top you got just like standard eyelets or eye stays, just little holes punched in through the fuse areas. This is the one area where I'm going to say be careful. I have made my legs feel like dead weight because I over tightened a little bit, so this is something that most basketball players already know, but just in case you're kind of like unaware for whatever reason, when you first lace up your shoes, sometimes they feel really uncomfortable. Either they start stretching and they become too loose, so you got to like stop and readjust your laces tighter, and then other times like these where I tightened them up a little bit too tight and it started to cut off circulation in certain areas and my feet just felt like I was like carrying cinder blocks. That's when I had to like fix and adjust, mostly right here where that strap area is, and I had to just kind of like loosen them up just a little bit. Once that happened though, I was like, man, these are a breeze. Now as far as fit is concerned though, go true to size. You should be good to go. If you ever have any concerns when you're trying to figure out what you would get in a Chinese branded shoe, I would look at your centimeters. That's probably like the best way to do it. You can also go with your Euro size, but sometimes they don't put all of them on there like online and everything. So going with your centimeters should be good. This is a US size 9 and they fit me perfectly. So I do think that they will be wide foot friendly. Like I said, when I first put them on, I like over tightened just because I thought that I needed like all of that snugness in there and it was just a little bit too much. So I think that if you're able to fill out the shoe just a little bit better than I did, you won't even need to have that potential issue. You'll just be able to lace them up accordingly and be good to go. So wide footers, at least most of them, should be good going true to size. Everybody else go true to size, should be good to go. If they happen to sell out in your true size, go down half a size. But that's going to be for like skinny footers, narrow footers, and regular footers, not the wide footer. And then all the support just kind of like encompasses everything that we've already talked about. Everything from that midfoot strap to the carbon shank to the caged cushion. They also have a nice wide base. They're kind of rounded, but not the way that you would think. It's like nice and flat on the bottom and then it just kind of rounds up on the edges and everything. The shoe is so smooth, it's ridiculous. I already love ANTA products, so when I heard that he signed with them, I was just immediately like, cool, everything's gonna be fine. Nothing to worry about here. They're gonna build him one kick-ass shoe, and that's exactly what they did. Do we happen to have a question of the day?
We do, and it's not disgusting.
Thank goodness. Man, I was getting tired of it. I was like, why are you doing this to me?
Maybe tomorrow. As for today, Pixar has 27 films that they have put out. What is your top 1? If you need a couple more, I'll give you top 3.
I was gonna say, how are you gonna pick just one? Like, does Toy Story as a whole count?
No,
as...
you could only pick, I mean, you can make it 1 through 3 or 2 through 4 if you want.
Take the whole Toy Story franchise, and that's probably 1. That was my first experience or exposure to them, was that first Toy Story movie. I still think that it's fantastic. I think that the second one is my favorite. I don't know if that's everybody else's though. I don't usually like that you have that like sophomore slump.
That's hilarious.
Why?
Because the reason that I came up with this question was from a Men's Health, and the guy had gone through and ranked it. No, but a Toy Story movie did make the top of his list, but it was not that one.
What did he pick as his number 1?
The 3rd.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, is Brave?
Brave is 1.
Okay, because I really like that one. I really like Up. What was that one that we just watched? Elementals? That one's really good. Finding Nemo's great. So yeah, I don't know which one I would definitively say is my number 1. All I would say is like, Pixar has more hits than misses. What's yours?
I thought you'd never ask.
Okay, I almost didn't.
I could go back and forth, but I think Monsters, Inc. would be my number 1.
That's a good one too.
Followed very closely by Coco.
Oh, Coco is so good. Man, yeah, you really just can't go wrong with Pixar, you know what I mean? Like, if you like good movies, watch a Pixar film, even though I shouldn't even need to be saying this, most people already have. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you guys once again. We will catch y'all on the next one. So until then, have a good one. Oh man, my body hurts so much. I don't miss this at all. I wonder if like there's other people that like took like a whole year off of like their sport and then went back and then they just feel like shit. I feel like I need to just be stepped on.
I can step on you.
No, but I don't trust you. No.